Okay, to start with, the first part we're going to do in this project involves machining a mounting hub. This will be the rear mounting hub for the 9-cylinder radial engine. I have decided to make it out of stainless steel. This is, as you can see, this is 303 stainless steel annealed. It's 2-inch diameter, round. The length of this it's not very long. It's going to be about 6/10 of an inch deep. The width of the hub, the total diameter of the hub, will be 1 7/8 or 1.875 inches. There's going to be several operations. We're going to machine it down, the diameter down to size. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to bore the hole through the center of it first or wait till later. But then we're going to have to face it, machine a little bit of an edge on the front of it, and we'll have to machine the back of it. The surface area that's going to be used as the mounting part of the hub is only going to be 63 thousandths of an inch thick, so it's not very thick. I may not make it that thin for several reasons. One of the things I plan on doing is machining the bolt holes that go around in a circle on the CNC so I can get an exact pattern on it. And of course it starts out from the very center of the part to do the bolt hole, so it's very easy to figure out where the center is on the CNC with the digital readout. And then it will, of course, drill you your bolt holes. A lot better than doing the layout process, which can be done. I don't always use coolant when I'm using the bandsaw, but I like using it whenever I'm cutting any type of carbon steel, stainless steel, which is a tougher type chromium added to it. It's a tougher steel and harder on the blade, and we want to keep the blade nice and cool so that it slows down the wear process on it. So one of the things that I like to do is to find out which side is more true. When we put it into, and you see all that gap there? No, that's not going to be good. That's the side I want to put into the lathe, is the truest side. And if you turn it around, this one here is pretty darn right on the mark. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to face this piece of stainless steel. I'm going to get myself a rag here. I always like to clean the jaws off first so they have good grip, and it rests flat against it. I'll double check, make sure I didn't miss the sides when I was spinning it over. Okay, that's the side we want. So, one of the most intelligent acquisitions I've made in my 11 plus years of machining revolves around the acquisition of a South Bend lathe, Heavy 10. The Heavy 10, South Bend built lathes that helped build this country in a lot of ways in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Started fading out in the 70s and eventually in the 80s. Now the only thing that South Bend does is provides parts and manuals, things of that nature, but they are very, very precision machines. After owning a couple of Asian style lathes, the difference is, and this is like an 82 model, I'm not sure. I've sent away for Providence. Still haven't heard back. But anyway, Mr. Pete approved oiler, and Adam Booth, A-Bomb 79 approved multi-fix type. This is not the Anko multi-fix. This is a Chinese knockoff. It does a pretty good job. I'm very impressed with it. I'm just right now checking the alignment of my tool with the face. We want it right about exactly in the middle of the diameter, or maybe a little bit below. It looks like it's too much below, so what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up. Loosen that first. Lift it up a little bit more, a little bit more. Tighten that in. That looks pretty good. Tighten the holder. Okay. Probably what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this under power. And going to try it and see what happens using a diamond-shaped TNMG tool bit, carbide tool bit, and we'll just see how it works on this piece right here. Got to plug in my rotary converter for 3-phase. That way we can supply sufficient power to this machine to get it to run. Some light cuts here so you won't ruin the tool. Increase the speed on this thing, feed rate. It's going way too slow at this point. Okay, hopefully this shot will give you a little bit better idea about what's going on in the machining process as we continue to try and get the face of this thing evened up. Machining is never simple. Yeah, my reverse kicked out of gear, so we're going to have to... There we go. Got her that time. Adjust this camera again. Okay, looks like the machine was able to get the little tiny nubbin there right at the end, which is about what you want when you're machining. We've got a pretty good surface on it. So anyway, what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to go in about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inches so that we know about where our stop point is going to be. Come over to the other side here, make it a little easier to figure that out. And now we need to bring our diameter down from 2 inches to 1 7/8 inches. So we will be bringing out the digital calipers, and we're going to be checking that frequently. Okay. I'm going to adjust the camera from a little different angle this time. Get a little bit, see the machine a little bit better. Since we're going to be doing this under power, we're going to have to switch a few things here. I think what I'm going to do is slow her down. Just a hair. First pass, not going to be real deep, trying to figure out just exactly how the machine's going to respond. Okay, now we're ready to do the boring. I have a center drill that's been mounted up in the tailstock, and we are going to use that to start our hole. So we're going to start, kind of stepping our drill sizes up a little bit until we get the size that we want. This is going to be a 3/8 inch hole. The largest drill we're going to use is going to be a 11/32. And then we're going to ream it with the 3/8 inch reamer, which will give us an accurate dimension. So, with a smaller drill in there, we're going to drill in probably about 1.5 inches. Give us a little bit of room for cutting off when the time comes. As long as these chips are coming out of here nice and smooth and even, we'll just keep pushing. If it starts to bind a little bit, or the chips start slowing down, then trying to back out, clear the chips, relubricate. But on a machine such as this, with a lot more weight and rigidity, I went from a machine that weighed about 380 pounds to a machine that weighed 1,100. The rigidity makes a world of difference. And I take her in just a little bit further. Trying to hit my 1.5 mark. Starting to bind, and we've got to get out of Dodge before we ruin our tool. Okay, there's a little hub in here, right in the center, on either side of the bore that we have here, that's 750 thousandths in diameter. Well, this is 1.875 in diameter. And so in order to find that diameter, how far in we have to machine, we need to subtract 0.75 from 1.875 and divide by 2 to get how far in that we need to go. So, in preparation for this, excuse me, went and knocked everything out of whack there. It comes out to 562 thousandths. So what I will do is I'm going to measure in with my Sharpie right there. And I'm going to machine, I'm going to set the cross slide so that, okay, so now we're ready to cut in the hub right in this area here. And this hub is going to be a diameter of 750 thousandths, and it's going to be 63 thousandths deep into the material. And we're just going to have to slowly sneak up on that. I don't know how vital that is to the final build of the engine, but we want to get as close as possible to avoid any conflicts later on down the line. I forgot that we have to run this thing in reverse in order to make this cross slide go in towards the work. Now we got that fixed. Okay, there's a little hub in here, right in the center, on either side of the bore that we have here, that's 750 thousandths in diameter. Well, this is 1.875 in diameter. And so in order to find that diameter, how far in we have to machine, we need to subtract 0.75 from 1.875 and divide by 2 to get how far in that we need to go. So, in preparation for this, excuse me, went and knocked everything out of whack there. It comes out to 562 thousandths. So what I'll do is I'm going to measure in with my Sharpie right there, and I'm going to machine. I'm going to set the cross slide. Okay, we're sneaking up on the mark here. As soon as we hit it, and I'll disengage the cross slide lever. Just a little further to go. Yeah, that'll do it. Well, I've decided that I'm not going to go all the way in because I can't accurately measure the depth without having something to reference with. So what I'm going to do is machine this part here, and I'm going to machine it so that I've got an area that I can reference the two different sizes between here and there, so we can kind of hit that 63 thousandths benchmark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle of the camera a little bit here. So you can get a little bit better look at the machining. Since the tool post is going to be in your way rather dramatically here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this plenty of room so that we don't overshoot our diameter, and start machining the backside. I'm probably going to need to use another tool. Okay, I've got the back diameter machined down to 3/4 of an inch, 750 thousandths, and now I'm going to start machining down the front until I get a hub, this hub right here, this area right here at 62 to 63 thousandths. And I've got my crossfeed reversed, and I'm going to go in a few thousandths at a time and check it with my trusty little calipers here that you see, and until we get to our dimension. Okay, we're going to try and zero in on the material removal from this side. Okay, here we are over at the Shop Task Patriot. I've got it in CNC mode. And we're going to do a bolt hole pattern on this. The diameter of the holes is, the distance apart, diameter of the hole ring is 1.375 inches, and there are 6 bolts. We plugged this into the CNC, into the Mach 3 software, and we figured it out. I've already center drilled all the holes that need to be done, so they have a little place to start from. And what we're going to do now is we're going to run it. And this is one of these occasions in machining that there's a lot of fun. I do enjoy the manual part of machining considerably, but the CNC has proven to me to be just as fun as the other part of it, and it's quick, easy, and efficient. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of machining oil on each of the center drilled spots. We're going to fire up the CNC. Get the spindle going. We've got it going at about 860 RPM right now. And so I'm going to start the program. I've always thought one of the most harrowing things to do was to do cutoff on a lathe. But as long as you follow Mr. Pete's 3 rules of rigidity, 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 most of the time it's going to turn out to be okay. So here we go. What I'm doing is just taking the edges off. When your tool gets in there a long ways, it kind of bends inward and then it'll grab. And that's where most people